Whether you're heading toward a bachelor's, master's, doctoral degree, or even trade school, you're going to want to stick around because the financial decisions you make before and during college can literally follow you for decades. I went to college myself and graduated with a bachelor's of science degree completely debt free. You heard that right, completely debt free. Through my own experience and through close friends who have master's degrees and are currently pursuing doctoral programs, I think I know a thing or two and have a good idea of how to properly navigate the higher education system. Now, for transparency's sake, I don't personally have a master's degree or a doctoral degree, but I've seen what works well for most people, and that's exactly why I'm doing this episode. What's going on, friends across the internet sphere? And welcome back to the Unassuming Life podcast, where I'm your host, the anonymous human behind the mic and in front of the computer screen who genuinely wants to see you win with money and in life. Now, with all that out the way, let's dive straight into today's episode. Oh, and before I forget, here on the Unassuming Life podcast, where it's always no face, just finance. Now, I'm going to talk about 10 things or 10 financial mistakes that college students or college bound individuals end up making that can literally cost you thousands of dollars if you make these mistakes. Starting off with number one, not knowing your why for going to college. College without a clear reason is one of the most expensive mistakes you can make, period. I've seen so many people go to college simply because they don't know what else to do, or because they're bored, or because someone else told them that they honestly should just go. That, my friends, is a dangerous mistake, both financially and mentally. College is way too expensive and too demanding to attend without a clear purpose. So make sure you know your why whenever you are going to college. And don't especially let anyone pressure you into going before you're ready. If you take out loans, you're going to be the one responsible for them. And you're the one that has to live with all the decisions that you make while you're in college, whether that's the loans, whether that's the degree that you go after, whether that's how long it takes you to complete it. All of that is going to be on you. And after you get done with your degree, you aren't going to be able to blame anybody else. So please, please, please understand your why for going to college. Now, up next, number two is not doing your research on your degree. Before you commit to a degree, you need to understand these three things before just signing your name and saying that you want that to be your major, okay? The first thing to consider is what the job market looks like for the degree that you are trying to go and get. Just, I hate to break it to you, but if the job market's looking rough or the outlook for it is looking rough, might not be a good thing to maybe go into, or at least you need to really be serious and passionate about whatever it is that you're going to be studying. The next thing to consider is what the expected pay actually is for somebody that has your degree. Again, this doesn't matter if it's an undergrad degree, a graduate level degree, a doctoral degree, a trade school degree. Doesn't matter. You need to understand what that degree is demanding in the marketplace, please. And then the last thing is how long it should realistically take you to complete said degree. So many people have these aspirations that they want to become a doctor or become a lawyer, right? For example, nothing wrong with those, like with those aspirations per se. However, they are then shocked and surprised whenever they realize just how much effort and how long it takes for people to actually achieve those aspirations. So, again, just to go back, not doing research on your degree is a huge financial mistake. So please do research on your degree. And when you're doing research, look into what the job market looks like for the degree, what the expected pay actually is currently, and the outlook for pay for that degree, and how long it should take you to get that degree. A great resource to figure out all those questions that I just asked you can be found on the US Bureau of Labor Statistics site. Please Google that, look it up. They have all the answers. Now, real quick, I actually want to talk about whenever I was in high school about how I actually ended up saving myself a couple of $1,000s before I even got to college. So, when I was in high school, I actually took advantage of some classes that allowed me to earn community college credits during my junior and senior year of high school. How did I do that, you might ask? Well, whenever I was in eighth grade, I ended up taking a extra math class. And from doing that, that ended up basically allowing me to take a high school level math while I was in eighth grade. So when I got to ninth grade, that then freed up a slot for me to do a extra class, and then that kind of compounded into, by the time that I got into my junior and senior year, I basically was not necessarily done with my high school curriculum, but didn't have as many classes as others. So instead of maybe people having a semester of classes during high school and it's four classes, I only had two. So I could leave maybe halfway throughout the day, or I could stay or do whatever I kind of wanted to. And so my parents really encouraged me to look into going to community college while I was had that free time. And I found out through my guidance counselor that they had a program at our local community college where I could obviously still be in high school, and at the end of my half day per se, I could go over to the community college and take college transfer credit. So if you are in a similar predicament right now, or if you don't even know what I'm even talking about right now, go talk to your high school guidance counselor and ask them about if they have any type of partnership or program where you can earn college transfer credits while you're in high school. Another way that you can earn college transfer credits is through taking AP classes and IBM courses while in high school. Those are another great way. So it's multiple ways to skin a cat, as people say. But please look into that. Go talk to your counselor and be proactive about this. Okay. Number three is not filling out the FAFSA or not doing it early enough. I cannot tell you how big of a financial mistake it is not to fill out the FAFSA. Even if you think FAFSA won't give you anything, fill it out anyway. This is really important, especially if you're a first generation college student or come from a low income household. With FAFSA, though, and this is very important, timing matters. The earlier you apply, the better your chances are at getting student aid. So please don't delay. I'm now out of college, and so I haven't. And I think they maybe have did some updates around surrounding when FAFSA is released, at least the application for it. Don't remember right now, but whatever that first day is, you need to be up at 11:59 the day before, so that when it hits 12 a.m., you are in your parents' bedroom bugging them to fill it out. Go ahead and get all their tax forms and stuff together before that day comes, so that you can go ahead and submit it on time, not even on time, super early, and so that you have the best chances possible of getting whatever student aid that you may be in need of. Um, FAFSA also, because if you do apply and you submit it early enough, it gives you potentially better loan rates. It also gives you more opportunities for more Pell Grants and those type of things. And also, you may have an opportunity to get work study. Now, me personally, while I was in college, I actually had a work study job while in college. For those that don't know what work study is, basically, it's a form of student aid to where you have to go work for a couple of documented hours that you kind of track and keep track of, and you document through your school payroll system. And basically, it's a job that pays you to cover some of your book expenses, some of your just like miscellaneous expenses that you might get while going to school. I cannot tell you how clutch work study was for me. It literally helped me pay for certain books, for certain just miscellaneous things that I needed, whether it was like a new laptop or paying for different tutoring services, even like online and like that kind of stuff. So work study is really, really important. So please, please, please don't forget the FAFSA. Fill it out as soon as it drops. Moving on to number four. Number four is not applying for scholarships early and often. Scholarships are everywhere, but most people don't apply consistently and often enough. And scholarships aren't just for first time freshmen. So I'm also talking to my people and my friends across the internet sphere that if you maybe went to college and maybe just didn't finish and now you want to go back, or maybe you never went to college and you got a job straight out of high school and now you want to go back, there are scholarships out there for you as well. There are scholarships out there for everybody, no matter if you're in undergrad, no matter if you're going to graduate school, no matter if you are wanting to go get your doctor's degree, your PhD, there are scholarships for you. All you need to do is search. Most people won't put in the level of work needed to get scholarships, and that's exactly where your advantage will come in. You need to treat scholarships like a second job. Now, applying to general scholarships through places like I think Niche or College Board is a really good start, but you're going to have to dig deeper than that. What I suggest for you to do is look for major specific scholarships. So, for example, let's say that you wanted to major in accounting. There are accounting only or accounting focused scholarships out there. Find them, Google them, apply for them. The next thing that I want you to do, or at least that I suggest that you look into, is state or county or town or city or whatever based scholarships in your area. There are some scholarship programs out there or donors out there that they only want to uh, give back or help rather those that maybe come from where they come from. There are certain scholarships that if you live in a certain area or if you went to a certain high school or if you're applying to a certain college, there are so many different scholarship opportunities out there. I cannot express to you how many scholarships I got and how clutch they came in once I started to see how much college really is and I saw those bills. Point being is that you need to be very, very meticulous as well as organized while you're applying for scholarships, checking in, making sure that your application is moving along in the scholarship process, and checking your emails often for responses for the scholarships that you applied to. The next type of scholarships that you can look into are organization based scholarships. For example, whenever I was in high school, I was part of something called FBLA, which stands for Future Business Leaders of America. They had scholarships. Some people were a part of Key Club, which is like a volunteering type of like humanitarian club. They had scholarships. SGA, they have scholarships. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. Even professional organizations, if you're a part of maybe a Greek organization, for those of you that maybe are going to like graduate school or trying to go after your doctor's degree, there's a plethora of different organizations out there that are offering scholarships. So please apply. And also, if you're working right now at Walmart, at Chick-fil-A, or anywhere, ask your employer if they have scholarships. And oftentimes they do. Don't sit on the sidelines, be proactive, and go and get this money because it's out there to be got, quite frankly. Number five is not considering community college first. Community college can be a really smart move and help you ease back into the academic setting, especially if you've been out of school for a while. On top of that, it's cheaper in like 99% of all cases. It allows you to knock out core classes like math and English at a fraction of the cost. As long as the credits transfer over to whatever 4 year university that you're looking at attending, it can and it will dramatically reduce your total college bill. So consider community college. I know that you know some people just don't like the idea of it. Consider it seriously. It'll save you time and money in the long run. Moving on to number six, not considering staying in state for college. People that do not consider staying in state for college, I think is one of the biggest financial mistakes that you can make while going or trying to go to college. In state tuition is almost always cheaper than out of state tuition because you're a resident of whatever state that you live in. And pro tip, if you live close enough to the college campus that you're thinking about going to, consider commuting and just being a commuter student. Room and board, for those of you that haven't gone to college or maybe that are going back to college or whatever it may be, I just want to remind you and inform others one of the biggest expenses in college is room and board. If you can eliminate that one line item, college becomes far more affordable. And for those that are not familiar, room and board is basically where you're going to sleep. I also think it might include your meal plan potentially, but basically it's your dorm room essentially. But room and board is by far one of the most expensive line items in your college degree. It's not even the actual classes themselves, quite frankly. So if you are close enough to whatever college that you're trying to go to, consider commuting. Room and board deleted is going to save you so much money. Trust me, I did it myself during my last year in college. My senior year in college, I did not stay on campus. And yes, I did stay in state uh, for college. So I'm just saying. Now, moving on to number 7, not participating in sports or extracurriculars. Friends, extracurriculars matter. I don't care what anybody tells you. Extracurriculars matter. Sports and extracurriculars can open up so many doors to scholarships and even maybe potentially paid campus jobs, depending on what organization or what sports that you're interested in. At my university, I had people that played football and basketball while they were in high school. And let's say that maybe they didn't get a scholarship, but when they got on campus, the coaches already knew them because maybe they had tried out before and they didn't just get in or whatever. Or maybe the coaches just heard about them. They weren't necessarily, interested in playing basketball or that sport for the school. So instead, the coach hired them on as a coach's assistant, or maybe they was an assistant and helped athletes in the weight room. Whatever the case may be, extracurriculars and sports, which is an extracurricular, it helps seriously. And for those of you that don't do sports, you could just extracurriculars in general: SGA, FBLA, Key Club. I already mentioned all this before. Chess Club. If you have a really cool podcast on the side while you're in high school, whatever it is, do something extra rather than just go to class, get good grades, and that's it. I promise you it'll pay dividends, especially as you're applying for scholarships, because people want to know the type of person that they're helping to achieve their dreams. They want to see that you're more than just somebody that just just goes to school and get good grades. I hate to say it, but everybody can get good grades if they just apply themselves. Seriously, they can. What people really want to know is, who are you as a person outside of the classroom? That's what people want to know. That's who people want to invest their money into, essentially. So please, please, please do not sleep on the extracurriculars and the sports. Go and do something more than just school. Like I said, I myself did not play a sport, but I did get involved in different clubs and organizations while in high school that obviously made me eligible for certain scholarships that otherwise I could not apply for, because I wouldn't have been eligible because I wasn't a part of said organization. So please get involved. Involvement matters more than people give it credit for. Number 8. Now, this is an interesting one, but just hear me out. And that's not considering the military as an option. Now, have never served, so I'm not trying to get you to go and sign those dotted lines. That's not what I'm here to do. However, I have had many friends that have served and that currently are serving, and they obviously are getting the benefits of serving. And I understand that the military isn't for everyone and it should not be taken lightly. But if you are already thinking about it or have an interest in serving for our country, it can be a powerful education benefit if you go about it the right way. Now, before talking to a recruiter, in my personal opinion, make sure you understand the commitment fully that you're making. Like I said, serving our country is not to be taken lightly. It is a very honorable, but also a very serious commitment. I personally recommend speaking with a trusted friend or family, and ideally somebody who has already served and gotten out, so they can give you all the game and all the understanding about the commitment that you would be making if you were to go and sign those dotted lines. The military, I support our troops, love our military. However, I don't want or encourage people just to go in just for the benefits. I want for all of you to understand kind of what you're signing up for before you just sign your name on the dotted line. But the military can be an absolute superpower if used correctly. And one of those superpowers is getting your college and education paid for. So consider it. Number 9 is not pacing yourself. College is not a race. If you're juggling work or returning to school after some time away, taking a lighter course load can protect both your GPA and your mental health. Pacing yourself can also make it easier to pay for college out of pocket, since you'll be taking fewer credit hours. Guys, it's not a race. It's not a race. It's okay if it takes you 5 years to do a degree that typically takes four. It's okay to take 4 years and you see some people do it in three. It's okay to take 7 years, 6 years, as long as you get it done. That's what is important. So pace yourself, because burnout is expensive. You're going to end up paying more money in the long run if you're not 100% bought into what you're doing and you keep restarting and restarting and restarting rather than giving it your all whenever you are truly ready so that you can get in and get out. And last but certainly not least, we have number 10 of the 10 financial mistakes to avoid if you're headed to college, and that's taking loans without fully understanding the consequences. Student loans should be your last resort. Before borrowing, exhaust every single other option that I literally just spent the last 20 minutes saying: scholarships, work study, part time work, lighter course loads, community college, in state schools, even the military. And on another note, especially avoid credit cards that are marketed to specifically college students. Those are traps, in my opinion. Do not do it. Debt is really easy to take on, but it's very hard to escape. Please, 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 before you sign any loans, please exhaust all the other options that we talked about today. I'm telling you, you're going to thank me 10 times down the line. Those are the 10 financial mistakes you should avoid if you're heading to college. If you keep these in mind while pursuing higher education, you'll come out ahead of most people, not only financially, but also mentally. And if you're headed to college or thinking about going to college, let me know down in the comments what you're planning on studying and whether this episode helped you or not. This has been the Unassuming Life Podcast, and I'll catch you in the next episode.